on giving and receiving, a meditation on the phrase, it's better to give than to receive. There are some phrases we've heard so many times, they stop meaning anything. They hang in the air like air fresheners, pleasant, acceptable, but faintly suspicious. It's better to give than to receive. We've all heard it. We've probably said it. It appears in classrooms, church sermons, holiday commercials, and charity campaigns, and it sounds noble, generous, spiritually elevated. But what does it mean? Is it true? And if so, how? Or is it another phrase, like so many others, that has been repeated past the point of understanding? Let's go in slowly. The obvious intent. When someone says, it's better to give than to receive, they usually mean one of two things. Giving is morally superior. Giving creates more joy than receiving. Both of those points can carry some truth. There is something beautiful about giving freely, especially when the gift is genuine, timely, and needed. And there is real satisfaction in seeing someone light up from something you've offered, be it a present, a favor, or an act of care. So yes, giving can feel good, and yes, giving can uplift the soul, and yes, giving can take us out of ourselves in a healthy way. But none of that means it is always better, and none of it addresses the unspoken shadow in the room. If giving is so good, why are so many people so uncomfortable receiving? Second, the insecurity of need. To receive well is one of the most difficult spiritual acts. Why? Because to receive is to admit a need, to open the self, to say, I cannot do this alone. I am not enough by myself. I require help. And that's terrifying. We live in a world that praises independence, control, self-sufficiency. To need is seen as weakness. To be helped is often framed as failure. So what do people do? They overgive. They become the givers in every room. They bring the food, fix the mess, offer the ride, hold the emotion. And when you try to offer something back, what do they say? Oh, no, I'm fine. I don't need anything. I'm just happy to help. I'm not good at receiving. It sounds humble, but often it's not humility. It's fear, because to receive is to be vulnerable. To receive is to trust. And many people would rather die giving than live in the risk of being seen as someone in need. Third, the secret pride of the giver. Here's something that doesn't get said often. The compulsive giver is not always kind. Sometimes they're just afraid of the loss of control that comes with receiving. Giving, when it becomes identity, can become a shield. It allows the giver to remain elevated, separate, superior. They're the strong one, the wise one, the generous one, and the receiver. They're the weak one, the broken one, the one who owes. If this sounds harsh, it's only because we rarely speak of the power dynamics inside generosity. To give is to be in a position of agency. To receive is to be in a position of trust. One grants, the other opens. Which one truly takes more courage? For the full circle. The truth is, it's not about which is better. Giving and receiving are not opposites. They are halves of one sacred rhythm. You cannot give well if no one is willing to receive, and you cannot receive well unless someone is willing to give. The flow of love, care, wisdom, support, it moves in both directions. Always. One becomes the other. One feeds the other. A teacher gives knowledge, but also receives meaning. A parent gives support, but also receives joy, identity, and growth. A friend gives time, but also receives connection. There is no giving without receiving, even if what's received isn't physical. And that's where the phrase begins to fracture. When the phrase goes wrong. It's better to give than to receive becomes toxic in certain contexts. When it's used to shame someone who needs help. When it becomes a badge of martyrdom. When it creates a hierarchy of virtue. When it reinforces the lie that to receive is to be less. There are people who have been giving for decades and are empty inside. There are people who have never learned to receive a compliment, a meal, or a held hand. There are people who only know how to pour because somewhere along the way they learned that to drink was shameful. This is not holiness. This is not generosity. This is imbalance. 6. A healthier vision. The truer, deeper principle might sound like this. It is good to give. It is good to receive. Each act, done with love, humility, and awareness, completes the other. In fact, some of the deepest healing moments in life come not from what we give, but from what we allow ourselves to receive. A person who finally lets love in. A person who finally says yes to rest. A person who accepts help, not because they're helpless, but because they're human. That is where walls come down. That is where people become real again, and that is better than giving alone. 7, the final word. So let the old phrase stand where it stands. It's not wrong, but it's incomplete. Giving is beautiful, but so is receiving. And until both are honored, we will keep building half bridges, structures that look noble from a distance, but never reach the other shore. Let the giver learn to receive. Let the receiver learn to give. Let the current flow in both directions. That's where real life is. That's where connection lives. That's where love breathes, not in one act or the other, but in the dance between them.